Now that the shape is defined, the next step is to give it some thickness. To do that, I'm going to use the polyextrude node and extrude the geometry inward. As soon as I do this, we can immediately see that there are a lot of issues with the extrusion. This happens because the topology is not clean, especially after using a labs sharpen, which tends to give a topology that is hard to work with. The result is this kind of messy extrusion you can see here. One of the main reasons this extrusion looks bad is because of the vertex normals. Polyextrude use them to determine in which direction to push, and in this case, they are too noisy. A good way to improve the result is to smooth the vertex normal before extruding. That way, when polyextrude uses those normals, the extrusion becomes much cleaner. So to do that, I first recompute the normals and apply them to points. And then I add an attribute blur node to blur the normals. One important thing here is to disable the pin border points, so the smoothing also affects border vertices. With a blur value around 50, the normals become less rough. Now, back in the polyextrude, I set the extrusion mode to point normals and specify that it should just use the existing normals. Just like that, you can see how much cleaner the extrusion becomes. Next, I need to bring back the original mesh so the shape becomes fully closed, and that's how I add thickness to each fractured piece. Once this process is applied to all objects, we end up with something like this. To further improve the shape, I want to add a loop that runs through the entire thickness of the extrusion. And by displacing this loop, it will help make sure all the fractured pieces intersect properly and won't leave gaps when I start adding more detail later. So I first need to retrieve this loop procedurally. Inside the polyextrude, I enable the output groups side group, front boundary group, and back boundary group, and I then promote and convert them into point groups. To clarify what this group represents, the extrude side groups contain all the faces that make up the thickness of the extrusion, while the back seam and front seam contain the border vertices. Now, the idea is to use a group combine node where I create a new group called loop. I start with the extrude side, and from that group, I remove all vertices that belong to the extrude back seam and extrude front seam. This way, I'm left only with the vertices that sit in the middle of the extrusion thickness. Before moving on, I need to fix the normals. Since the extrusion was done inward, I need to reverse the normals and then recompute them on points. Once that's done, I use the pick node and I target the loop group and push it slightly along the vertex normals. This small offset ensures that all the fractured pieces properly intersect with each other and don't leave any visible gaps. But before doing that displacement, I once again blur the normal slightly using an attribute blur just to make the displacement more stable. A subtle amount is enough. And here is the final result on the full objects. At this point, we have a fully fractured object based on the ribbon paths we created earlier.